Hi online yogis, what's up? Harry's here, Harry's Yoga Studio. Welcome back. In class now. We'll be doing some postures that possibly some of you may have not done before. So there's variations as always, and you just work at your own level. You'll need all the props as per usual. We'll start by bringing the hands to prayer, closing the eyes, sitting tall. Just finding that inner stillness through the action of mindfulness, popping the hands on the knees, and we'll continue just to bring the mind inwards, focusing on the breath, focusing on your body. As we continue this action, we start to find that still place. Alright, first posture, square pose. Very similar to sitting cross-legged, but quite a bit different. So, normally when we're cross-legged, we cross the shins over, and that creates a bit of a circulation cut-off, so we don't want that to happen. So we take the shins so they're parallel here. We want to try and bring the knees closer together here, so just sort of push them towards each other. And our seat bones, we want to move backwards a little bit. Now, prop-wise, bolster is pretty handy to have here. And the block might come in handy, or the roller. Okay, so we create this position here, hands to the front, we just drop forward. Now there is a stronger version for this one, the half lotus, where you pop one of the front leg up on top of that bottom leg like so, and then you drop forward. That's going to give you a lot stronger stretch through this hip. So just work at your own levels here. It's quite a strong stretch anyways. So we drop forward, we adjust the seat bones, grab a prop, and we drop forward and relax. So as with all the stretches, some of them you find okay, some of them are difficult. I do know that just from observations of teaching for 15 years that cross-legged is actually one of the challenging postures for many people, especially as you get into the older years. However, we can overcome these with constant stretching and opening and just sort of working with your body all the time. That's the secret. So once you're in position, you're just relaxing into it, softening through your body. Long deep breath through the nose, so trying to maintain that nose breath. And taking your mind to that area where you're feeling the pressure, most probably the hips. One more than the other, just due to the legs being in different positions. Now if you do find it just not working for you, you can sit on something just a little bit of height. You don't want to be too high, probably like the blanket height or a block height max. And that little bit of height can sort of make it a little bit more comfortable for you. Slowly coming back upright and just releasing the legs. Bit of a shake out here. There comes the rain again. Gone from the driest year to the wettest year, it seems. Such is the nature, yin and yang, always balancing out. Just had the yangish year, hot, dry, and now we're heading into the yinish year. And as is the nature, always trying to balance, so is our body, yin to yang, yang to yin. That's why it's good to practice both these types of yoga we're offering here, the yin and the active stuff. Combined creates balance. Okay, let's go back into the position. This time we're down into the other way of crossing the legs. And usually one side is more awkward than the other. As we know, we're always sort of sitting one way when we sit cross-legged. This may be your awkward side because we normally do our favourite first. Dropping down, adjust the seat bones, grab your prop and settling back down. Slowly coming back upright and releasing the legs. And a little bit of a shake out once again. A little bit of wipering movement here. The hips are kind of like a bit of a key to unlocking a whole lot of parts of your body. Being central as well, really helpful for upper body and lower body. So if you can get your hips open, you're going to find that the rest of your body's in pretty good shape. We're going to open up the back of the legs now for this next stretch and a little bit in the quad as well. Just bringing the right foot around to the side here, like so. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure in this knee joint. A little bit of height if you need to sit on your blanket, that should relieve it. And this foot here ideally would be sort of tucked under so we get a bit of a stretch here. Straight legs out on a little bit of an angle to your left, because if it's like this you're going to find yourself sort of leaning over to that side, so just take that leg out a bit wider. Ideally this foot would be pointing up, and once we go into the stretch, if you find that you get a lot of pain under the knee there, you can actually just chock a block under there like that. Okay, so hands either side of the straight leg, and we just sort of work our way down towards the kneecap. Once you're there, then you can do a little propping up, so if you're not going down too far, just pop the roller on the inside of that leg, and you can just rest your forehead there, like so. If you're going down a little deeper, maybe your blocks working here. immediately once you come in with the hamstring stretches, initially there's quite a strong resistance. So you've got to really just soften everything, and in maybe 20-30 seconds you can feel it sort of release quite distinctly. That's sort of the first release, and it's usually the biggest. And then after that, it's sort of, you just start sinking into it, and there's just a gradual opening as we hold the stretch. And if you do find that you can't handle the bent knee position here, the alternative is actually to swing that foot inwards like that, and you get another stretch. But it is quite a bit different to this one where the legs in this position. This is quite a bit stronger. Slowly lifting up out of there and just releasing that bent leg. Bit of a shake out. It's an interesting thing, stretching. There's a whole lot going on. Rather than, we're not just stretching a muscle, we're stretching the fascia, we're opening up the meridians or energy channels. When we open up the energy channels, that diverts more energy back into the organ that's associated with it. So in this case, back of the legs, water element, so bladder and the kidney meridian are the main ones that run down the back of the leg. So we're also affecting those organs. And we will work on the water element. That helps to release the nervous system and build up chi as well. So lots happening. Let's try the other side, shall we? Bring that left leg around. Right leg's on a slight angle outwards, just to sort of create that nice balanced feeling. Hands either side of the straight leg, and then just slowly dropping down into the stretch. Couple of deep breaths through the nose. Immediately just trying to soften the hamstring, relax as much as you can. And just propping yourself up. Again, if you've got any knee problems, just flip that foot around into the knee for the other version. Slowly coming back up and again just releasing the other leg. Just coming down into Shavasana. We'll just let that settle for a minute or so. Bring the knees into the chest, head off the floor, and we'll just rock up into a seated position once again. So we're going to move into the bound reclining butterfly pose. So you'll need a strap here, you'll need a bolster which is heading behind your back lengthways. And you may need a block, so that block just goes on the end of the bolster there for the head to rest on. Legs come into the butterfly position. And we just grab our strap, create a loop, and just pop that over the body, right down low around the base of your spine there. Then it comes around between the legs and around both feet at the front, like so. So then we can just tighten, and we keep on tightening until the heels are fairly close to the groin. So quite tight, but not so tight that you're like jammed up, because when we go backwards it will tighten a little bit more. So just check that your strap's nice and low. That's going around the sacrum joint and just creating a bit of stability there. And we rock on back. Head can either rest on the block or not. If it's too strong in your back, just push your bolster back a little bit, or you can pop a block underneath your butt or a blanket or something. Probably a blanket better. So I was saying earlier about the water element. This is another good posture for just building up the chi. It's a really restorative posture. It's a nice one to do regularly, like every day. Getting nice and comfy, back to the breath, such a relaxing pose. If you do find that it's a bit too hard on the groin, you've got really tight groin, it's just not comfortable, you can just pop something on the knee like that to help support you in the posture. The strap does help a lot though. Arm-wise, if you want a bit nice shoulder stretch, you can actually just take your hands behind the head there, just let them rest on the bolster, or alternatively your arms can go out to the side and you'll get a nice shoulder stretch. Or you can just have them by the side of the body, or a bit of everything. Slowly working your way back upright and releasing that strap. And we'll just bring that bolster around, pop it under the knees and just recline back in Shavasana just to let that settle. And then we'll move into our next posture. Yeah, we'll bring ourselves back up into a seated position. Okay, so we've been sort of preparing the body for this posture here, the plough, or called snail in yin, but I prefer to use the traditional names myself, the plough. So the main thing with the plough posture is it puts a lot of pressure in the lower back. So the way to prevent any problems in that issue is to keep our legs slightly bent when we come into the posture. There will be quite a few different versions here. So for this one, just the roller. If you don't have a roller, just use your bolster. We come down onto the back, feet behind the hips, just raise the hips and we'll pop that roller underneath your tailbone there and extend the legs up towards the ceiling here. Okay, so there's a couple of no-nos with this posture. If you're menstruating, you wouldn't do the full plough, but you can do the first version that I demonstrate for you, which is pretty simple. Knees to the chest, feet behind you, and you can actually just pop your arms around the knees. So we're just bringing this pressure into the midsection and starting to create a little bit of a stretch through the back. The next step from here is to actually straighten the legs a little bit. Still slightly bent here. And you can put your arms around the hamstrings and that creates a little bit more pressure in the belly. So the organs actually get a really deep massage here, and you don't want to do this posture on a full tummy, that's for sure. The next step is to actually try and roll further over. So pop the arms on the floor and we just start to lift the spine off the bolster, still keeping your legs bent. You can just bring the roller up with you and just wedge it in behind your back there. That way you can sort of relax into it without having to hold yourself here. Another option is to just reach back and grab your toes, and you can come over a little bit further up onto the base of the neck there. And then the option you can just bring that roll right up and support yourself here. Again, legs are always bent. So it can be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but once you settle into it, not too bad. But if you do find that you've had a gutful of this one, just come back out of it. A bit of a shorter hold for this one. So we just start to move the roller down and you slowly come out of it. You can take it away completely and just drop the knees into the chest, just wrap your hands around them, but sort of open up the body a little bit here. just pop the feet on the floor, and you can just keep your roller there under the knees. Let that settle. Okay, just grasping the hands around the knees, and we'll just rock up into a seated position. So our last posture, which is a nice little counter stretch for that one, is the supported fish pose. So again, bolster behind the back lengthways. If that's too high, just grab something a bit lower. Block for the head. Maybe start off at a little bit of a higher setting. You can always go lower. And then we just recline. So you want to make sure your butt's still on the floor. Again, you can put a blanket under there. That little bit of height will ease the back bend. And we just drop back, head onto the block, arms out to the side. Slowly working your way back up into a seated position. We'll bring the bolster around, pop it under the knees. Just remove that block there. Although if you did drop your head right back and you've got a bit of a sort of pressure in the back of the neck, you can stick down in the back of the head just to release that. And then we'll drop down and just let the body adjust to that session, which has been quite a challenging one. A couple of deep breaths. The beauty of yin is you're already in that Zen place by the time you get to this part. So you can just drop in and just enjoy. Just completely letting go once again. Bring a little bit of movement back into the feet and hands now. Eventually just making your way onto your side. Slowly working your way into a seated position. Once you're upright, just bringing the hands to prayer. Spirit in me bows to the spirit in you. Namaste. I love the practice of yin. It's so relaxing, so opening. Body feels fantastic. So enjoy that, and I look forward to our next class. Until then, go well.